ambition itself is not enough.
Dear Mr. Massa, I'm just trying to mind my own business. What's the matter? It's just another day, another black king captured. I'm about to lose my brain stuck inside this ghetto rapture. I got a lot of smoke. If you want it, you can have it. They want a hat trick, but this is black girl magic. Ain't talking about the kind that'll make you disappear, but I'm talking about the power of the melanin within. Ain't looking for trouble, but I'ma say this one time. I put two dukes up if you try to touch mine. We still want justice for Samir and Trayvon. You say you don't see color, but racism ain't blind. They targeting little kids whose skin look just like mine. So I'm paranoid, it's a war zone outside. And I'm a black queen, so if you ask me to step out of my car, you gon' have to snatch me. Cause I ain't going no damn well. Had to spend my whole life living unfair. Ancestors got my back and they right here. You can never understand, it's a nightmare. Living in my black shoes by the black rules. You can keep your handshake, I don't dap coon. The white man to go nuts if he cash you. But you all on his side like a damn fool. Make it make sense.
We are oppressed.
Queen.
We are exploited. We are downtrodden.
Make it make
Queen.
We are
sense.
denied not only civil rights, but even human rights.
Ahmadiyyah.
So the only way we're going to get some of this
Ahmadiyyah.
oppression and exploitation
Queen.
away from us or aside from us is come together
Queen.
against the common enemy. Who taught you to hate the texture of your
Ahmadiyyah.
hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin?
Ahmadiyyah.
Parents, pay attention to the books, the school system, given to your little children. Lies mixed with wisdom. His skin too bright, so he was blind to the prison. My skin just right, so I collide with division. You trying to pray to God, but we tired of religion. No savior saving, we got to save our savings. We used to pay miss, how we gon' make the slave rich? But who's to blame, and tell me why you complaining? We need a team effort just to rule the nation. Like a bad relationship, missing communication. We missing moderation. They're trying to get a poison to my population. No reparations. I'm getting tired of Satan.
We are oppressed.
I'm
Queen.
getting tired of waiting.
We are downtrodden.
Queen.
We are denied not only civil rights, but even human rights.
Ahmadiyyah.
We're going to get some of this
Ahmadiyyah.
oppression and exploitation.
All right. Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning back in once again to the original Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur show. I'm your host, Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur, and this is your daily vitamins. So as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. Okay, so let's just get ready to get into it. Hello, just anticipate the Prince of Paraphernalia. 504 Nola is here. Let's get into it. Danny Joe. All right. North of 49, 57 Beige Fox. Love Christie. Lisa's Real Spill. All right. Nia is here. Okay, Andrea, I see you, beloved. Buckhorse DC, OJ Patrice, or OG Patrice, I'm sorry. Byron is here. Sandra. Okay. Tariel Miller is here. All right. So shout out to all of my loyal worlds and everyone tuned into the Queen, and a big shout out to my moderators because you all know they be putting in work. Okay, I see you, Trisha. We the people. Okay, let's get ready to get into it. Before we do, let's have a brief word from my sponsor at 12 Tribes. I see you, Claudette, Leon, Pretty Wings, and Sheila. All right, and N Night. Okay, let's get this party started. Here we go.
Do not buy 12 Tribes on Earth hair growth oil and hair magic elixir unless you want super healthy, gorgeous hair that grows. They have a whole line of amazing hair growth products, including hair growth leave-in conditioner spray, hair growth shampoo, hair growth spray, and hair growth butter. I'm starting to sense a theme here. They include quality natural ingredients. They smell amazing, and you can see the results for yourself. So if you're looking for healthy hair growth for your natural or relaxed hair, try 12 Tribes on Earth today.
All right, so don't forget you can purchase 12 Tribes Hair Oil at Etsy.com. Just look for Lisa Crafts, and you can also find her products at Walmart.com. And don't forget that she sells beard oil. Okay, I hope you all took advantage of the sale. It ended yesterday. If you missed out, there'll be another one coming soon, I'm sure. Okay, so let's get ready to get into it. This whole thing with Carmelo Anthony is heating up, but it just seems to me that the defense has not really done a good and thorough job. Okay, Also, there's the issue that Hunter Metcalf. Now, I don't know if the defense is going to call him. I told you all days ago that, in my opinion, they should absolutely not call him, okay? Because if they get him up there and start grilling him about inconsistent statements that he's made, he's absolutely made inconsistent statements. But, and I'm going to go to a clip that proves that. But if they get him up there, all that the prosecution is going to do, like I told you all, is going to start bringing up, how he was there. He saw his brother pass away and all of that. He's going to start crying. Then his family's going to start crying. And then the jurors are going to be all sad. And at the end of the day, that's not going to be good for Karmelo. So he absolutely does not need to get on the stand as far as I'm concerned. I know some people think that he should. Okay, but that's just not my opinion. But let's go to what J.D. Miles reported earlier. More defense witnesses testified during the Karmelo Anthony murder trial. Okay, defense witness 18. Okay, has a twin brother, fraternal, graduated from Centennial High School, played football 4 years and track 3 years. The defense asked the question, did you know Karmelo Anthony? What did you know him as? Okay, so I'm going to share the screen so you all can see this. Everybody, please hit that like button. Okay, that all being said, hold on, let me read a couple of comments. Pamela Spain says, y'all cry for Karmelo, I won't. Who said we're gonna cry? At the end of the day. Kaliz says Hunter and his family were crying at the court sitting next to the jury. Yeah, that's all strategic to have them sitting right there by the jury. Okay, that's absolutely strategic because usually they would be on the other side, just in my opinion. Okay, Chris says don't put your hands on people. Exactly. Okay, exactly. Now, with that all being said, moderators, I want you to look out for anyone who might be a troll. Okay, I have it set so we shouldn't have much of a problem. But you know how some of these trolls are. Okay, you know how some of these trolls are, honey. They will wait for days just so they can get in here, okay, and talk mess. So if you see any trolls, let me know. All right, so anyway, let's continue. So anyway, as you all can see, this is a CBS reporter who's there on the scene reporting on a regular. Okay, so here's what he says. Did you know, this is the defense speaking to the witness. Did you know Karmelo Anthony? What did you know him as? The witness says, yes, we called him Mello. Defense says, how would you describe your relationship? I'd say we're friends. We hung out. Defense says, how's track different from a football game? There's way more people and you can walk around. The defense says a part of track is making friends. Would you agree with that? Did you have friends from other teams? The witness says yes. Now, defense then says, did you see other kids? I'm sorry, did you spend time under other teams' tents? The witness says yes. Defense says, did you see other kids doing the same? Yes, sir. Did you ever have a problem doing that where you were told that you shouldn't be doing that? Were you told that you shouldn't be doing that? No, sir. Would you sometimes sit down and have a conversation? Would you spend more time in the tent? I'd spend some time. Okay, the defense says, have you ever been in the memorial tent before? Witness says yes. Was it say hi and leave or spend time and hang out? We'd spend time hanging out. Defense says, was it just you? Witness says it was me and Mello. We both had friends at memorial. Defense says, how much time did you spend? Witness says about 10 minutes. Defense says, were there any problems with that? He said no. The prosecution says there is no need for a knife at a track meet. That's the question the prosecution asked. The witness says no. The prosecutor says, as far as you know, Frisco's IDS policy of not having a knife at a track meet has never been violated. Witness says it hasn't. Okay, so they only asked those two questions. Now, let's go up to the next report. The courtroom is full and we're waiting for the judge and jury to enter. Prosecutors just motioned to Austin Metcalf's parents to follow them outside the courtroom to discuss something. We don't know what it is, what it's about yet. That's interesting. Wonder what that was all about. Okay, first defense witness is Karmelo Anthony, or in Karmelo Anthony Murder trial on Monday is a 17-year-old Centennial High School student, football and track teammate of Karmelo Anthony. He says Karmelo was acting normal in the stadium when their team arrived and sat in the bleachers of Huey Kendall Stadium. Defense says, would you agree with me that a football game is more of an our team versus our team culture? No, sir. Defense says, what about track? Is it more social? The witness says, I would agree. Defense says, what would you do to pass the time? Witness says, scroll on my phone, get food. Defense says, what about spending time under others' tents? Witness says, I don't think I ever had done it, but it never had crossed my mind like that. Defense says, had you ever seen other kids who have done that? Witness says, I can't put my finger on a time when I noticed it. Witness testifies that the Centennial team was hanging out in the baseball dugout while waiting to determine if there was a rain delay in the start of the track meet. They had to leave and they didn't have a tent. He says they went out on the field to warm up. Defense says, what happens once you got onto the field and start to warm up? The witness says the rain had almost died down to a full stop and it started to pick up again. He says the team dispersed and Karmelo Anthony headed to the bleachers. The defense says, what made you notice him in the bleachers? Witness says, I was just looking around and I saw someone I recognized. He says he saw Anthony under the Memorial High School tent and it looked crowded underneath it. The defense says, describe what is happening. Witness says, everything looked completely normal. Defense says, describe to the jury what you saw and what you thought. Witness says, I had looked up, and when I looked up, I heard a sound a lot like yelling. I heard louder voices over there, and when I looked over there, people weren't facing the field anymore. They were looking back. Defense says, do you remember telling the detective my teammate might be in trouble and maybe I needed to go help him? Witness says, yes, sir. I thought there could be something wrong. I wanted my teammates to see it too. Okay, so with that all being said, let's go to the next because the rest of that is just comments from people that read the report. Okay, so let me see here. Frisco police officer Bo Riley is the next witness for the defense in the Crimes Against the Children unit. He was called out to the stadium the day of the stabbing. He interviewed some of the witnesses in the field house near the football field. One of the witnesses was a memorial track athlete who knew Karmelo Anthony and talked to him under the tent. He reviewed the cell phone of the student to check his camera roll and text messages and Snapchat account. Defense says, did that examination take 30 to 40 minutes and try to find anything interesting or relevant? The witness says, I would describe the consent-based search as being thorough. Defense attorney is getting officer to confirm that the knife was legal to carry in Texas and into stadiums. Defense says, it would surprise you if schools had policies against such things. Witness said, no, it would not. Witness is excused. Okay, so that's all he was asked. I don't think the defense is doing a good job. I'm sorry to say, but it just doesn't seem like it for me. Okay, next, defense calls another witness, a 17-year-old student at Frisco High School. He's on the football team and on the track team. He was track meet on April the 2nd. I guess he meant he was at the track meet April the 2nd of 2025. He was on the Frisco team. The defense says, how is the culture around a track meet different than a football game? Okay, so then he goes on to say, the witness says they're really social, so everybody would know each other, see each other, say hi, really social. The defense then says, is that only on the field, only in the bleacher? How would you describe it? It's all over the place. That's what the witness says. Defense says, did you ever have other kids from other tents come over to your tent and say hi? Witness says, yes, sir. It wouldn't hurt to say hi. Defense says, do you recall where you were in the stadium? I was by the gates. Defense says, did anything happen that you took particular notice of in the stands? Witness says, everybody was standing up and I saw somebody get pushed or get punched. I don't know which. Defense says, is that under the memorial tent? Witness says, yes, sir. Defense says, so it looked like to you that it was just a kid just kind of under the tent? The witness says, yes, sir. Defense says, do you remember saying that it looked like somebody was trying to stop a fight? Witness says, yes. Defense says, the person who got punched or hit, did they react in any way? Witness says, I don't know. Defense says, did you see him, Karmelo, make a swing type motion? Witness says, yes, sir. Defense says, what happened after that? I saw he did a swing motion down and I heard, oh my God, somebody just got stabbed and people started scattering. Defense says, you got a very small snapshot of this. Is that fair? He says, yes, sir. Prosecution says, is it fair to say you don't remember? The witness says, yes. Prosecution says, a lot of what you said, you're kind of guessing. Witness says, yes, sir. Prosecutor said, do you remember seeing the video I showed you? Witness says, yes, sir. Prosecution says, it showed that you didn't see what you thought you saw. Witness says, yes, sir. Now I want you all to pay attention to this. Listen to how he's breaking down this witness. Now, he didn't ask any of his own witnesses these type of questions, but pay attention. It's like he's telling the kid, listen, whatever you thought you saw, trust me, we know it wasn't that. Okay, that's not really what you saw, is it? I want you all to pay attention. But let's continue. He says, I'm not trying to put you on the spot. It's fair to say, after seeing the video, you didn't want to testify. He's asking. The witness says, we wanted to do the right thing. We wanted to do the right thing. What does the prosecution mean? I'm not trying to put you on the spot. It's fair to say, after seeing the video, you didn't want to testify? We wanted to do the right thing. What is that supposed to mean? Why would he say, after seeing the video, you didn't want to testify? He's trying to make it look as though this kid doesn't even know what he's talking about. And after he saw that video, he further knew that he didn't know what he was talking about. And he also knew that he didn't see what he thought he saw. Are y'all paying attention? Honey, this is all set up by design. But let's continue. Let's continue. This is from 3 hours ago. It says, the judge has ordered an unexpected and lengthy lunch break following sidebar discussions with attorneys over something private. This would be the point of the trial where the defendant would likely testify if they are going to. So when we return to court at 12:30, will Karmelo Anthony be the next defense witness? I will be on court with the answer as soon as it resumes. Yeah, Karmelo definitely does not need to testify, in my opinion. So an hour ago, it says court was scheduled to resume at 12:30 in the Karmelo Anthony murder trial. It's almost 2 p.m. and we are still waiting to go back into the courtroom with no explanation from the judge or attorneys who are inside. Lots of speculation from the court watchers that I won't go into. But as soon as we are allowed back inside, I will let everyone know what's behind this delay. Then an hour ago, he says, we're back in the courtroom and should have an explanation for the delay at any moment. Okay, then it says jury is being dismissed for the day. This is an hour ago. Jury is being dismissed for the day and called back tomorrow for closing arguments from both sides before they deliberate. So that's it. The defense rests with that little bit that they did. Breaking, the defense has rested in the Karmelo Anthony murder case. Y'all hear this? This defense team is working with the prosecution. Y'all are not going to convince me of anything else. And I told you all this because I know how it goes down in a small town. I promise you I do. And here's the thing. At the end of the day, they didn't do any damn thing. The defense didn't call forward any witnesses that could change the trajectory of this case. They didn't call one witness that was beneficial to Karmelo. Not one. This is all by design. Okay, this is BS. There's the fix is in. Okay, I had to be the bearer of bad news, but that's what it is. The fix is in. Okay, because like I told you all, I knew it was shady when I told you all that they were never having any objections. Why in the hell were they letting the prosecution ask each one of those kids over and over and over who was the aggressor, who started, whose fault was this? Was this murder or self-defense? He had no business asking those children that, but not once did the defense object. Not once did they object. Okay? They didn't do nothing to rest. This clearly is a railroad. Yes, I told y'all the other day a railroad was coming, though. Okay, I told y'all. With that all being said, Queen, I felt the same way about the prosecution. There was no defense because he is guilty. Well, even if you think someone's guilty, Kevin Gibbons, even if you think someone's guilty, everyone is entitled to a defense. Or are you too obtuse to know that? Okay, whether we think they're guilty, know they're guilty, even if we see them do it, everyone is entitled to an accurate and adequate defense. That's how the law goes, or at least it should. Now, here's what I'm going to say to you. Here's what I'm going to say to you. I thought I got rid of this person yesterday, Ron Roberts, because I'm about sick of you. Okay, now I just blocked him. Now, here's the thing. The bottom line is, in my opinion, there's absolutely going to be an appeal, and it's going to be on the grounds of inadequate counsel and also an unfair trial because there was not one person who looked like him on that trial. And the black people that were stricken, the last three, was because of some BS that wasn't even relevant to the case. Now, with that all being said, so they might have a win for now, but I promise you the appeals process is going to be coming right around the corner. It's just too obvious. Okay. And to think that the money that was donated to them, they wasted on this no good lawyers. Because these people suck. Okay. These people suck. Okay. At the end of the day, please pay attention. Please pay attention. I find it all so interesting. So with that all been said, hold on. Let's go to Hunter because Hunter, I don't know if he's going to testify, but I know he doesn't want to. I'm sure he doesn't want to. Let's go to those interviews that he did a year ago.
There was this kid, before I knew his name now, this kid was sitting under our tent at track. We asked him to move. He started getting aggressive at track. We asked him to move. He started getting aggressive and talking reckless. And my brother stepped in and said, you need to move. And he's like, make me move. Austin grabbed his backpack.
All the rain. We come back, we sit down, and this kid said something behind me. I've never met this kid in my entire life, never knew who he was. Said something just inappropriate and uncalled for. And I turned around and asked him who he was. He started getting really aggressive. And this kid said something behind me. I've never met this kid in my entire life, never knew who he was. Said something just inappropriate and uncalled for. And he knew he wasn't supposed to be there. He was it's just a tragedy what happened.
And then what happened, Austin? After your brother stepped up, what happened then?
He stepped up over there, asked him to move, got aggressive, he grabbed the bag, and then I whipped my head around, and then all of a sudden I see him running down the bleachers, grabbing his chest.
Who I can hear in the side, by the way. I think he's there in the room with you. I saw an interview last night. Okay, someone else. I saw an interview last night. Okay, someone else.
Today marks the year that Hunter went and did his first interview a year ago pertaining to what happened to his brother Austin. And in his first interview, he adamantly admits that it wasn't Austin, it wasn't me, he said, if we would have never went over there to mess with Karmelo, his brother would still be here today. Now, I know that, you know, the naysayers and y'all don't want to believe that that's true, but he said that out of his own mouth. Nobody coerced him. He was not forced. He didn't come, and I don't even think he really has spoken anything since then, but that video is still floating out of his own mouth. And I know that y'all want to make Karmelo this monster and he's this and he's that, but so many evidence from that day is now coming out for all the videos thereafter. So them boys wasn't innocent. Cam will be, though. He will be acquitted.
Technically, your bigger brother.
Yes, ma'am. He does a lot of big brother stuff around. He's always on my back. Even if I'm in the wrong, he'll always take my side no matter what. It's just really heartbreaking to see someone that cares for you that much and does everything even by your side no matter what, just pass away like that.
Mm-hmm. Your mom told me that you were there.
Yes, ma'am.
If you don't mind, what happened?
There was this kid, before I knew his name now, this kid was sitting under our tent at track. We asked him to move. He started getting aggressive and talking reckless. And my brother stepped in and said, "You need to move." He's like, "Make me move." Austin grabbed his backpack. The kid, I tried to whip around as fast as I could, but I didn't see.
Okay, so you all heard that. Now he's told two different stories. Okay, first he said they approached Karmelo, okay, and told him to leave. Then he says that Melo said something inappropriate. Now, nobody testified that Melo ever said anything inappropriate. And this is why Hunter doesn't want to get up there in the stand, because Hunter was absolutely involved in it. I told you all that from day one. I told you all that if they were going to charge anybody, they should have also charged Hunter, because when there is an incident that happens and someone's life is lost, all parties that were involved in it are supposed to be charged. Okay, so with that all being said, I find it all interesting. I find it all interesting. Now I see a few trolls that were in the chat. I blocked many of them. Moderators, get on your job. I shouldn't be having to block these trolls. That's what y'all are here for. Okay, so please pay attention. All right. Now, with that all being said, hold on. Hold on. Hold on, I'm reading a couple of these comments real quick. Hold on, beloveds. Joseph says, okay, say they're all racist. Why would Karmelo knowingly put himself in a snake pit? Karmelo thought he had a friend that was there. I mean, we've already covered that ground. So anyway, with that all being said, let's continue. Let's go to what some of the people that were boots on the ground had to say about this. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. Okay, let's get into it. First of all, let me go to my TikTok that I did on yesterday about the demons who really think that they can provoke us. Okay, they are just so sad and pathetic. I mean, it must be so time consuming to waste your time hating on other people for no good reason and just living a miserable life, because that's what you do. Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Ahmadiyyah Shakur. So for the people who look like me, I want to say this about the Karmelo Anthony case. Please stop trying to explain yourself to the MAGA types, okay? And y'all know what I'm talking about. These people have selective outrage. They don't care about the truth. They don't care about the facts, okay? All they want is their own narratives pushed because they have a disdain for people who look like me. Okay, that's just what it is. They don't like us, so they're never going to try to see how we should have the same type of the same ability to protect and defend ourselves as they do. Okay, even when it comes to them, they don't want to see it. Okay, they suffer from cognitive dissonance. They believe what they want to believe and they view things the way they want to. Okay, so with that all been said, you know, they get upset when we have a difference of opinion and they want to start calling us names and saying all sorts of hateful things. But if you notice, when we disagree with them, we don't do that. Okay, we just simply voice our disagreement, but they have to say all these hateful things because that's who they are. So you can't expect for them to try to show any empathy or sympathy or try to show some sort of understanding for Karmelo and what he went through. But at the end of the day, it's okay for Kyle Rittenhouse, and yes, I said Rittenhouse, to go across state lines with a pew that he wasn't even supposed to have legally. Okay, that was purchased for him by a friend. Okay, but they don't want to talk about that. They still felt like he was in the right to say self-defense, to have that claim. Whereas they keep bringing up what Melo had on him and why he had it, as if that's the focal point. The bottom line is Austin should have just minded his own business. And if he did want Melo to leave so badly and Melo refused to, he could have easily gone and gotten someone else. He could have gone and gotten a teacher, a coach, anyone with authority. He didn't have to put hands on him. But see, that's the part they want to just gloss over. They want to act as though, oh, well, why didn't Melo just leave? Why didn't he just leave? Why is it that people who look like me are always the ones that are supposed to be, be the bigger person, the ones that are always supposed to bow down? Okay, when it's people that look like them. Why couldn't Austin have just minded his own business and gone and sat down somewhere? Or better yet, gone and gotten a coach or someone, like I said. Okay, please pay attention. Another thing, if this case was so much on the up and up, then the witnesses coming to the stand wouldn't be sitting there telling all of these lies, sounding like they're coached, all saying the same things, using the same verbiage and all of that. And at the end of the day, like I said, they were flat out lying. The defense proved it in court. Okay, with receipts, pulling up transcripts. They had text messages sent to phones and all of those things. Eddie specifically told a bunch of lies. How was his testimony the least bit credible? Okay, so if everything was on the up and up and it was such a sure win, why are people lying at the end of the day? Okay, please make that make sense. Okay, please pay attention. And as far as Eddie saying that he was pretending that he was recording the whole incident, I think he absolutely recorded the whole incident. Okay. And I think that footage was deleted. Okay. I think that it was deleted just to keep it from getting out because I think that something else happened that they don't want us to see. That's why I believe the case isn't being live streamed. Okay. And also, the other thing is, I absolutely feel like this is the reason that only jurors were allowed to see the footage that was clear. Everyone else supposedly saw the grainy footage from what I was told. Okay, so why is that? Like, what are they hiding? At the end of the day, I do believe that that Karmelo was absolutely afraid for his life. Okay, please pay attention. There were 4 of the biggest guys, and they were all cowering over him. Okay, and going in on him. Okay, and so and that's what a witness said. He said it was me, Luke, Austin, and Hunter. That's what he said. So that's 4 of them. And he said they were the bigger guys. They were the ones who carried the coolers and whatnot. Okay, so please pay attention. They also kept talking about how Karmelo said, touch me and see what happens, or as long as you don't touch me, we're cool. But they left out the part until it was dragged out of them, okay, out of Eddie by the defense, that Austin actually said, I'm going to beat your BITCHASS, and then charged so hard at Karmelo that he fell back onto someone named Dustin. Okay, so I'm sorry. They're trying to act like it was just some little soft shove or whatever. No matter how hard or soft it was, he should have kept his hands to himself. And that's just point blank and period. Okay, please pay attention. Exactly. I said what I mother ucking said. Okay, and I don't care who's mad. Now, Vince I Am just reminded me of something, beloved. Thank you, because I forgot all about that. Vince said, Queen, remember the Popo threatened to arrest anyone who posted the video online. Do you all remember that? Do you all remember that when the situation first happened? I told you all there was some salt in the game then. I said, why are they threatening to arrest someone who possibly recorded it and puts it online? That's how you know that Karmelo is innocent. That's how you know. They didn't want that video showed so much. Okay, and that guy, Eddie, absolutely recorded it. He wasn't pretending. He recorded it. Okay, he recorded it, and probably someone else did too, because the police damn sure came out and said that. Okay, they darn sure came out and said if anybody posts video footage of what happened at that track meet online, they're going to be arrested. Now, why and when has the police ever done or said that? I want you all to pay attention to fixes in. But now let's go to Neek and Knight. Let me tell you all something. I wish I was down here because I am so mad right about now because Neek is crying on her live stream. You can tell she's crying. And if you all don't know what's going on, let me just tell you. Neek did a live saying that it is one of the racist places that she's ever been or that she's never encountered such racism. There is some Karen online who's down there reporting on the story. And what she's doing is she's telling lies about what's really going on, okay, just like somebody was doing at the Diddy trial, okay, and she's making up stuff, and then she's trying to discredit Queen Sheba and Neek at night. She's trying to discredit them because certain things, if you notice, like I've been telling you all, certain things that are happening in the trial, the mainstream media is not reporting on that. They're not reporting on the fact that someone testified that Austin threatened, oh, I'm going to beat your ass, okay? They didn't report that. They didn't report that people said that he was shoved so hard that he fell back onto Dustin. They didn't report how there were numerous inconsistencies and how they were flat out lying and got caught in the lies when the defense showed proof, specifically Eddie. Okay, they didn't report any of that to my knowledge. Most of them didn't. I know Fox sure didn't. Okay, so with that all being said, this person has been talking trash and lying on Neek and Queen Sheba and mostly harassing Neek. Okay, and Neek pretty much put her on, gave her like a cease and desist warning, told her if she doesn't stop, there's going to be legal actions taken. Okay, there will be legal actions taken for me regardless. Okay, because who is this devil? She's committing defamation, libel, and slander. That's what she's doing. But let's go to the video. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance.
All right, y'all. So we are at our lunch break. What was unusual? Oh, you step in back because I don't have my mic. Okay. So we are at the lunch break. Basically, what happened was they did 3 witnesses, and then after they did 3 witnesses, they decided that it would be better to break at 11 so that the rest of the day flows smoothly. And they told us to come back at 12:30. When I came out, I was talking to JLR Reports. He was covering footage at the Diddy trial. Definitely go check that out. And I'll just get into the testimony that happened so far today. If you guys can't hear me, I'm gonna try to project my voice loudly. But the first witness was a witness from Centennial. He was a friend of Karmelo on the track team, and he is a 17-year-old. I can't give his name because he's a minor, but he said that he spoke to the detectives that day, and he went to the same track meet at the same time. And when he went to the track meet at the same time, he said that he was like bouncing around between soccer and track, so he was kind of like all over the place. And then they wanted to know like if he was on JV and if Karmelo was on varsity. And anyways.
Now, I don't know if you all can tell this, but it is very apparent to me that Neek is not comfortable. The way she's talking, everything, she is clearly on edge. Okay, I want you all to pay attention. Now, you can see the Black Panther Party is down there for her protection, but she is very on edge. You can tell the way she's giving her commentary. She seems nervous or extremely uncomfortable. And I want you all to pay attention. I wish I was down there because this is really ticking me off.
I'm gonna try to not to pay attention. Thank y'all. So they wanted to know what mood Karmelo was in. It's nice. This is I know they were trying to intimidate her, right? I just listened to the podcast and she was crying good. Okay. Yeah. We're not part of that. No, we're just interested in I like podcasts. Okay, so so he wanted to know basically like how was it that day? He wanted to know like what was the mood and everything like that. He said like when they first got there, they warmed up, and then after they warmed up, then they went to like this soccer dugout. So, I mean, not the soccer dugout. They went to the dugout. Let me read where I was at.
I'm good, Queen. Keep going.
Okay. I don't know. Y'all start moving around me in a circle, so I start getting. Okay.
Don't worry about them.
Okay. All right. Sorry, let me find my spot real quick.
Like, this is really ticking me off. I'm literally about to cry. Because why is Neek crying? They're down there harassing her and trying to intimidate the hell out of her. It's really ticking me off. Let's continue.
Oh, okay. So they wanted to know basically what was the culture and what was like the usual things that they would do at track. Like they wanted to know like if it was usual for a student to talk to other teams and if that was like out of the norm. They wanted to know like if they saw other students talk to people who were from other schools, and they said that like what was the difference between the culture of like football and what was the difference between the culture of track. And so he said like with football they kind of like start and it's like start to finish, but with track there's so many different events going on that they have like a lot of downtime. They're able to talk to students and everything like that. The guy was just taking my photo. Okay, I'm just saying.
You got 1,000 people taking your picture right now.
Huh?
You got 1,000 people looking at your picture right now. You had 1,001. Yeah.
Okay, so he said he so it was like 2 to 3 of them, and they were going to the like baseball dugout. And then while they were at the baseball dugout, they were basically trying to hide out from the rain because it had started raining and they were trying to get away from the rain. So when the baseball coach came out and told them that they didn't have to, that they had to go from being there, he decided to walk somewhere else, and they went back to the field. It said that Coach Wooten told them to go warm up. He said the weather was rolling in. It looked like a big storm was coming. They go put their spikes on and start to warm up with a bunch of people, including Melo. He said he was on the 4x100 team on the field, and the rain had started to die down, and then it had started to pick up again. While they were out there, then Melo heads to the bleachers, saw him later on in the bleachers. So basically, he was kind of like setting up the stage where he said that he was on the field and then Melo was in the bleachers, but he was able to, like, from the 40-yard line, observe where Melo was and things like that. And so, like, he said that he would, like, be looking over there and he noticed, like, some movement and stuff like that. So then they wanted to know, like, well, was there a time where you noticed Karmelo under the memorial tent? And he said that he noticed him under the memorial tent closer to the top right. And then after that.
Have you seen the average auto insurance rate in Georgia? It's crazy. I don't know how anyone can afford to live there. Georgians are paying over $2,400 per year on average for full.
He said he went to go test out his cleats because he had never did like a track meet before where rain was coming down. So he wanted to like test out his cleats and stuff. So then he said that underneath the tent that Melo was under, they wanted to know, like, was it super crowded? Was it medium crowded? And he said that it was medium full. He said that it was getting crowded, but it was still like room for people to get under there. And they wanted to know, like, well, what was your position? He said sometimes his position would be at the 40-yard line. Sometimes it would be at the 20-yard line. And so he was able to hear certain things. And they wanted to know what the mood was under the tent. And the mood basically was normal. So he said, like, when he first was looking up at the tent, the mood was like normal. It didn't really look like a lot was going on or whatever. But he said that it was like a normal mood. And then he said he was able to be close enough to where he was able to hear voices on the field. And that's basically what caught his attention. He said he looked back and he seen people like on the front row of the bleachers looking to the back. And that was kind of, you know, that's something that he started to notice. He said that he saw a push and he saw arms like go out and make contact with Melo. He said there were people all around Melo. And he was wondering maybe like, is the interaction with them friendly or like, did something happen? He said that out of nowhere, like it got super loud and people stood up. And then he was like, whoa, like, you know, wondering what was going on. And then he said at first it sounded like people might be laughing. And then that's when he saw the push, but he didn't see Melo stab anybody. He said that Austin, the next thing, they were like, okay, so like, what are the next things that you noticed? He said the next thing that he noticed was Austin pulled up his shirt saying that he got stabbed. He didn't know Austin at the time. He saw Melo do like a light jog going to the right of the bleachers. And then he saw Melo on the field. He said, so then they wanted to know basically what was his behavior when he was on the field after this situation had happened. And he basically said that Melo was crying. Like he was able to see that he was very emotional. And he said the best way that he can describe how Melo was that he was distraught. He said that basically like everybody was in that same like distraught mood. Then they wanted to know like what did he hear him say? Okay. I don't know what happened, but I got 10 more minutes. So if y'all in the chat can look at the time, let my uncle know when 10 minutes go by. So, because I got 10 more minutes. So I think that. All right. So after that, it was time for the prosecution to do cross. And basically what they tried to do was discredit the witness. They tried to basically say, well, you know that when we showed you the video about a few weeks ago that when you thought that all of this stuff happened and when you thought you saw a movement, that wasn't until after the stabbing, it wasn't before. And then he was like, yes, he agreed that it was after. And then he wanted to know basically nobody wins in this. That he got a few things wrong from his account and from what he had remembered. And then he said that in the detective's statement, you say Melo was normal. He said, yes, sir. He said, you say that you guys went to the dugout and they told you to leave. And then he was like, yes, sir. And then after they were in the dugout, he said that when the coach told you guys to leave, you left without a problem, right? And then he was like, yes, sir, or whatever. And then he said, you thought people were surrounding Melo, and but that was after the stabbing. And then they was like, well, do you want us to show you like where you were on the field when all of this happened? And he said that like they didn't really need to show him. But then the prosecution was kind of like pressing, and he was basically like, well, we can show you if you don't remember, or, you want to like refresh your recollection and stuff like that. And so then they showed him a video where he was standing on the field, and while he was standing on the field, he basically was reminded that he was kind of like in the middle. So if you ever been to a football stadium and you see like there's like a center of the field, like there's like halfway between one side to the other, like he was in the kind of like the middle in the 40-yard line. And then you can see that the bleachers were kind of like a little bit of ways. And then he showed him how once he started to look back, it looked like it was after the stabbing. And he was like, well, the murder just happened right now, right? And that's when you look back, blah, blah, blah. So then after they did that, they bounced it back to the defense. And the defense said, well, you weren't in here when there was testimony that there was discrepancies with the timestamps, right? Like you weren't in here when there was testimony, and you haven't been looking at the testimony, so you wouldn't know that there was a discrepancy with the sync of the videos. And he was like, yeah, no, I wouldn't know that or whatever like that. And then he was basically like, when you first talked to the detective, you said people formed a U around Mello. And then when you looked at the video, said that they formed an L. So when he said that, the prosecution argued that he was leading the witness, and he like put in like whatever motion or whatever. And then he said the tent that you said was medium full, and they said yes, sir. And it was like not like packed prior to the push, sitting under the tent. You saw people all around him under the tent. There, and then he said there were people walking by. There were people like he was like describing what he saw, because he saw like people walking by, people like going around and stuff like that. And then they wanted to know again, like, okay, so right before the incident, like what was the mood? And he said that it was normal. And then he was like, let's see. He said,
Navan, the #1 rated business travel platform, lets your team book work travel in one place. Flights, hotels, cars, while...
Like you described everything to the best of your recollection. So then it was back to Cross. And they wanted him to say again, like where Mello was. And he said he was in the top corner. And when they showed the video of them running to show that it was synced up, so they showed him the video again, and they were like, "Well, this is synced up with the murder, blah blah." And then it went back to the defense, and then the defense was like, he tried to like say like it like insinuate like it wasn't synced up or whatever. And so he said that it was like part of varsity, etc. So after that, they said it's time for the next witness. And then like one of the jurors was like raising his hand or whatever. And they had put like, they went on like a sidebar with the lawyers. And basically, the juror had 5 minutes to go to the restroom. We couldn't leave the courtroom. And then when we came back, it was Officer Riley. Now, Officer Riley, his name is Bo Riley. He's employed by the city of Frisco, and he serves as a detective in Crimes Against Children Unit. He said at the time that the April 2nd incident happened, he was serving a search warrant on an individual that did a crime against a child. And he was told about the stabbing, so he headed to the stadium to interview some of the witnesses. And they wanted to know if one of the witnesses that he interviewed was a guy by the name of Eddie Parra. He said, yes, sir. It took place in the field house. That's where they did the interview, in the field house. And they wanted to know about the search that he did on Eddie's phone. Now, if you guys have been paying attention to the testimony of the witnesses, Eddie Parra testified that he lifted up his phone and he pretended to act like he was filming the video. And so they wanted to prove that, like, you guys did a search, but you didn't like forensically download it. So like if he prior deleted something, you guys didn't download his phone to actually get an accurate accounting of the content. That's kind of what they were trying to get everybody to understand. And he said that he just did a consent search where Eddie was right there and he was like telling him like, well, go to your photos or go to this, go to that type of thing like that. The next witness was another student, but I'll save the rest for after. I just wanted to give you guys an update because something about today, like the way that they broke at 11 and wanted to come back at 12:30, I'm interested to see why that was and who the next witness is. They didn't announce who the next witness is going to be. So it looked like they were preparing for something. I'm really not sure, but I will keep you guys updated. Make sure you have your notification bells on time. I have been in the courtroom every single day of this trial, and I'll be giving you guys live updates when I can. So thank you guys so much, and we're out.
All right, shout out to Neek for her very thorough reporting. Okay, these people are out here mad and sad and butthurt, clearly pressed and stressed. Okay, and like I said, this woman has been lying on her, posting her picture and things of that nature, and just out here posting, just telling a bunch of lies, and then sending her racist devils to Neek's chats so they can further harass her online. I want you all to pay attention. This is what the devils do. Okay, now let me just go to a comment before I get started with Queen Sheba. Queen Sheba didn't make it into the court today, but she still had something to say. So we the people said this might be the one that kicks off a full-blown race war. Honey, there's not going to be any race war. Okay, we're not going out there and fight these idiots for what? Okay, there's no way to win. I already told you all 1,000 times, and anyone that's thinking of something so stupid, sit down somewhere. Okay, because at the end of the day, if we were winning in a race war, which we absolutely would be, we already know how it goes. All they're going to do is get the military to come and drop bombs like they did in Tulsa. So nobody's getting into no damn race war. Stop talking crazy. At the end of the day, how you hit them is the same way we've been doing it with Mr. Chow, in their pockets. Let me just tell you all something real quick. Because I was talking to someone last night, and I was telling my friend, here's what I was saying. We need to have asymmetric warfare against these people. And by that, I mean this, not violence, not fighting them or anything, because that's just going to be a path to nowhere but further destruction. What we need to do is think about how Iran has shut down the Strait of Hormuz. I told you all in the beginning of the war against Iran that they were using asymmetric warfare. Okay, they shut down the Strait of Hormuz, which is causing economic decline, which is unstabilizing the global economy collectively. Everybody's in an uproar because prices are raising. So what we need to do when we get these unfair verdicts, unfair trials, we need to hit them in their pockets. And what we need to do is pick one of them. Okay, it's just to pick one of them. Nobody's scared of white people. We just know that white people have the method and means to have the military come and drop bombs, and we don't. Okay, it would be like taking a knife to a gunfight. We're not stupid. Okay, we're not stupid. And let me just go ahead and block you for being ignorant. Now, with that all being said, the best thing to do is this. We decide what corporation that we want to boycott. Okay, we decide. Is it Walmart? Is it Amazon? Whoever. We will pick who it is that we want to give the smoke to. And then they could say, oh, well, they didn't have anything to do with the track meet or what Karmelo, Anthony, and Austin had going on. No, they didn't, but we don't give a damn. Because at the end of the day, they're part of the group that allows these things to happen. It's just like when Iran bombs the 5 Gulf states, whether it's Bahrain, Oman, Kuwait, okay? They can say, well, we're not involved in the war, but you're down with the U.S. and you've allowed the U.S. to have bases on your soil. So with that all being said, if the U.S., when they attack Iran, if Iran can't get to the U.S., what do you think they're going to do? They're going to get to the closest thing where those U.S. bases are. So that puts you in there. That's how it goes. So we're going to do the same thing. If we don't get the verdict that we think is fair, then we're going to boycott a very wealthy corporate entity. That's just what we'll do. And we all have to be in on it. That's what we have to do. Okay, Lurk Squad says Amazon. Okay, we'll decide. We'll come up with a list of 10, and out of the 10, how about we pick 1 or 2 that we will not purchase from? Okay? Please pay attention. We got this. And at the end of the day, honey, we're not doing no race war because, like I said, we know how the devils do. Please, a bunch of innocent black folk dead because we went out there trying to fight these devils when they have all of the methods and means. Okay, pay attention. Okay, pay attention. We saw what they did in Tulsa and everywhere else. They're never going to play fair, okay, because they can't take their L's. So with that all being said, let's hear what Queen Sheba had to say.
Unfortunately, I was not able to get in today. But you know, we're big girls and boys around here. We get back into the game. So as you can see, I am here. Let me tell you what's happening. The defense continues their direct with their witnesses that they brought to the stand. From what I'm being told by insiders, they are expected to possibly rest their case today, and there's a strong indication that closing arguments may begin. That's the first thing. The second thing is the defense did call to the witness stand the officer who confiscated Eddie's phone. Why is this important? Because during the incident between Karmelo Anthony and Austin Metcalf, it is believed that the individual named Eddie may have instigated the fight, took out his phone to record the fight. However, on the witness stand, he testified that although he took out his phone and started to quote unquote record, he didn't really record. He was just pretending to record, to which the defense cross-examined him and said, "Now, why in the world would you take out your phone and pretend to record?" He says, "I don't know. I was just being stupid." So today, the witness that's on the stand is a very, very important witness, because we all want to know, is there a clear video of the altercation between Karmelo Anthony and Austin Metcalf? Because this could be a key piece of evidence that strongly indicates who provoked the fight and who indeed was the aggressor, okay? According to the witness, the police officer, he took Eddie's phone with Eddie's consent. However, he doesn't recall seeing any video of the altercation.
Now, we already know he saw that damn video and likely deleted it. Okay? How could he not recall? You specifically took his phone. He claims his phone was taken twice. There was video footage in that damn phone. That's why they said if anybody posts footage, you're going to jail. Okay? Now, KC Prime says, "I'm still shocked they didn't subpoena Eddie Parra's phone and our phone data to see if he had a video and deleted it. Plus, why didn't Hunter testify?" Thank you, beloved. Excellent questions. Now, let me just say, and thank you for your insight into the topic, beloved, and your contribution to the channel. I appreciate you. Peace, love, and blessings. Let me say that. Here's the thing. I was wondering myself, beloved, why they didn't subpoena Eddie Parra's phone. I believe I mentioned that, okay, on a previous broadcast. Why didn't they get his phone to see if there was anything in there? Why didn't they subpoena his phone records? Okay? Why didn't they get into the clouds? Because even if it was deleted, they could have still retrieved it. But no, this is why I think that the defense is in on this whole thing. The defense has not adequately defended this young man, in my opinion. How many witnesses have they called? And they're already resting? Make it all make sense. They didn't have not one objection to any of the things that the prosecution said. No, I'm no attorney, okay? But I did go to school for criminal justice, so I know the law very well. And even me, not being an attorney, knows that exactly they should have had something to say about the way the prosecution was asking these young people all these questions, as if they were some sort of legal experts. Okay, as if there were some sort of behavioral scientists and they could just put things together. I thought it was very interesting, but the prosecution or the defense didn't do anything. And they didn't say anything about the young man who was on the stand who was looking at Mr. Metcalf, and Mr. Metcalf was coaching him. By the way, Queen Sheba's not the only one who said that. Another reporter for Law and Crime said it too. I'm going to go to the footage. Okay,
All right, y'all.
So you all heard what she said. Moving right along, let's go to the next clip, because the guy from Court TV absolutely saw Mr. Metcalf nodding his head. Hold on. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Here we go. Yeah, the defense never objected. Like, make that make sense. Not even once.
And as she was doing a recap of Saturday's trial, she mentioned some interesting things that went on within the courtroom that mainstream media never mentioned. Take a look at this clip.
Interesting when you said that, it was very obvious to everyone in the courtroom that Jeff Metcalf allegedly was helping one of the witnesses answer the questions in your comments in your comment section of that video. Everyone was saying like, "Oh, who is this woman? She's just biased, saying anything." And then Court TV or Law and Crime, YouTube page with like 1 million something followers, their reporter said the exact same thing, that the witness was looking over at Jeff Metcalf and he was visibly shaking his head in the courtroom. So if everyone else was able to see that and Judge Roach was kicking people out for whispering, how is he not seeing a witness look over at someone in the gallery and giving answers to like, how is he not seeing that? That just doesn't make sense to me.
That's a good question. So let me tell you what happened with that, and thank you for asking. So when that was happening, Judge Roach was positioned this way. If you can see me, Mr. Metcalf is back there. So Judge Roach would have had to have turned this way to see what was going on. I was able to see it because I was this way, and I'm watching the witness, and I could see every time he was asked a question, he would look like if I'm looking into the screen or asking me a question, and I go this way every time I answer. And I'm like, what is he looking at? I mean, it went on for at least 20 to 30 minutes. So finally, I attempted to position my body because I thought maybe he knew somebody in the jury. But it was Mr. Metcalf he was looking at. And when I leaned back to take a better look at the jury, I could see Mr. Metcalf telling him when to say yes and when to say no. And at the exact time when a defense said, would you describe Hunter Metcalf as a big boy, a bigger boy? Mr. Metcalf said, and the witness said no.
Okay, please pay attention. Now, here is the person from Law and Crime saying the same thing, basically. Notice it's only the black people exposing this.
His brother Hunter, the defense is like, well, Hunter was similar in size, trying to make them out to be, the big bullies and all. That's the narrative they're going down. And as the defense attorney is asking this, I can see Jeff Metcalf, the father, just shaking his head like these boys are not the same size. And the young man on the stand said, I wouldn't say that. And he actually said that Austin was substantially bigger than Hunter, which is very interesting. Because, I mean, you're going down this narrative and then you have a witness on the stand that's supposed to be in support of your narrative and he's negating things that you're saying. I don't know how that looks in front of a jury. I imagine it's kind of damaging, maybe not extremely damaging, but it can't be, positive. Yeah, and his brother Hunter, the defense is like, well, Hunter was similar in size,
Okay, so we can see that she was telling the truth. Now let's go to this video of this attorney and what she says about Hunter taking the witness stand and why she shouldn't do it. This lady literally says, and this is an actual attorney, she literally says exactly the same thing I told you all days ago. Okay, now Danielle says, B1 family, let's please rise above our emotions into the thinking of God. Our emotions can cause us to go out and do foolish things, boycott. Exactly, beloved. Exactly. Okay. And thank you for your insight into the topic and your contribution to the channel. I appreciate you. Peace, love, and blessings. Okay, Cherry says, this so-called Queen Sheba don't rub me right. She is always trying to defend BS like the judge facing the other way. Then in the P. Diddy trial, she was always on the prosecution side. I hadn't noticed, beloved. I had not noticed, but I mean, if the judge was turned the other way, maybe that is why he didn't see. But I do think that the judge is biased, okay? Because anytime the defense has tried to bring forward certain things that seem to be relevant, such as Karmelo's disability, his health issue, the judge would not let them bring that up. Okay, as though it were irrelevant. And to me, it isn't irrelevant. It has something to do with the case. Maybe that's why he was afraid. Okay, I mean, we just never know. Okay, so with that all being said, Patricia said, praying against a race war. Honey, there's not going to be no race war. How can there be a race war if we're not participating in it? They're going to be out there fighting them damn selves. Okay, now let's continue. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. I mean, nobody can make you get into a war that you don't want to be in except for Trump. Okay, please pay attention.
Will the defense in the Karmelo Anthony case call Hunter Metcalf? That's the question everybody seems to want to know the answer to. So let me give you my opinion as a criminal defense attorney who's been doing this for about 15 years. So the short answer to that question is they should not. I know a lot of people think that it will be helpful because there were minor inconsistencies in the statements that he gave, that being to the press and that being to the police. Those inconsistencies aren't necessarily great enough for it to be worth it to subpoena him as a hostile witness. but I could see why some people would think that it would be important to get him on the stand. The prosecution did not call him. Why I think people want to hear from him is because they think that those inconsistencies are great enough to demonstrate reasonable doubt. They're not. They're really not. Okay. They believe that it will demonstrate that Hunter and Austin were the initial aggressors. And while I think that I could see or understand why you would think that that would be helpful, at the end of the day, it will not, because what will happen is on cross-examination, the prosecutor will absolutely rehabilitate that. Anything the defense tries to do with the inconsistencies in any statements or any interviews that he made, the prosecution will destroy the defense's case on cross-examination. And you will end up with a crying Hunter Metcalf on the stand talking about how he held his brother in the last minutes of his life and how he died in his arms. And a jury will absolutely 100% convict after seeing that. It would be a huge mistake to do that.
Okay, I think I told you all the same exact thing. All they got to do is get him up there on the stand. He gets to crying. His family gets to crying. The jury's going to have all the empathy and sympathy, and everything's going to go out the window. Please pay attention, okay? That's just common sense. So if his defense team brings Hunter up there to testify, you already know the fix is in, because that's the last thing they need to darn do. And any good defense attorney would know that. Okay, so please pay attention. Now we're going to go to a couple of videos, and then we're going to talk about this Rick Chow verdict real quick. I have a couple of videos of what people had to say about the Asian boycott. That's still on, and it's still in full effect. Nothing's changed. We can boycott everybody if we need to.
I've talked to True Crime, True Crime Addiction. I talked to Tiffany Billions and other people over the network. And there was a meeting in Chambers a couple hours ago, and they came out of Chambers, and after that, the prosecutor went over and talked to the Jeff Metcalf's lawyer, family lawyer, who's the lawyer for Hunter, okay, whom I believe should be charged with felony murder, but that's a separate matter. So apparently, it appears that Jeff started shaking, got very anxious, and it appears that the defense is gonna call Hunter at this point. So, you know, I don't think Hunter can invoke the fifth because he's not been charged with anything yet. So he's got to talk. And I think obviously given the history of Hunter's statements, his widely ranging statements as to who was standing where, who was sitting where, all those things are going to come out. A number of inconsistencies in his statements. And, you know, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. So in a few hours, we'll have more information. But that's what I got right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
For the update.
Okay, I believe his name was Christopher King. I just happened to see his video on TikTok. Let's go to the next clip. Likes up, everyone, please like and share.
Mind my business, but the strangest thing about this Karmelo Anthony trial to me is one, it's an all-white jury. First thing first, unfair trial. Secondly, why didn't Hunter Metcalf testify? That's your twin brother. You was right there. You know everything that happened. But why isn't the star witness testifying in this case? That's what the fuck I want to know. I want to fucking know. Ooh. And why? Because I find it interesting how he was able to go and do fucking interviews on the news and daytime talk shows, but he can't testify in court what happened. Why you don't want to tell the story under oath, Hunter? Why your version of the side of the version of events can't be said under oath, but you can get on the TV and put out a narrative to the media? But in court, you won't stand on that shit and really put it on oath. Interesting. Out of all the witnesses this week, the prosecution did not call the witness that was the closest to the incident.
And the reason the prosecution didn't call him, like I told you all, is because they know that he's going to mess up their case. Okay, it's going to be bad for the prosecution. It would have been bad for them, and it can be equally as bad for the defense. Like I said, all he has to do is get up there and start the waterworks. It's not going to matter that he's telling lies, not to the jurors. Now, in the prosecution, they know that he's already given conflicting statements during interviews, and he's also already admitted that he was involved. Now, they've all sat up there and lied. These people who testified have all acted as though Hunter had nothing to do with it. He was sitting somewhere over there. But at the end of the day, Hunter was right there in the midst of it. Okay. He said that we had an altercation. We had a little altercation. That's what he said. And then he said Austin grabbed his backpack. Now, nobody testified to that. Not one of those people got up on the stand and mentioned that part. That's how you know there's missing parts from this story. And that's why they don't want to show the video footage. And that's why people were threatened to be arrested if they post it. Okay, anything showing footage of what actually happened. Because what actually happened, in my opinion, is absolutely, they all were going in on Karmelo. Like I told you all days ago, that's why nobody realized that Austin was stabbed, not even Austin, because of the rush of adrenaline flowing through Austin's veins, as they were all probably pummeling him. That's just my opinion. Take it or leave it. But the bottom line is, they're going to find Karmelo guilty. I don't know if it'll be of murder in the first, but they have underlying or lesser charges. But they're definitely going to find him guilty. We already know that. Already go ahead and accept it. But don't forget that the appeals process is going to come. They're going to immediately file an appeal. I'm going to tell you that now. Okay. And they're going to say that basically it is because it was an unfair trial. Okay, because there was no one who looked like him on the jury. But if I were the family, I would fire the attorney and get a new attorney, and then also file the appeal on the grounds of inadequate counsel. Okay, because this person has not done a good job. With that all being said, Third Eye Open 864 Beloved, thank you so much for your super sticker donation to the channel. I appreciate you. Peace, love, and blessings. And the thing is, they've tried to keep Hunter out of it this whole time because they know that Hunter should have been charged as well. He was a part of it. Okay, he was a part of it, but they protected him this whole time, and they're still protecting him. Okay, now let's go to these videos about Rick Chow and this Asian boycott. Everyone, please like and share.
Asian guy goes off on black people and actually challenges black people, you know, to actually, you know, go out and go ahead and do a boycott. But check this out, right? So that Asian man put out a challenge to black people to go ahead and boycott Asian businesses. He asked us to go out our way to go ahead and boycott Asian businesses. And it's really not a problem. You see, the thing is, a lot of these Asians is getting on this app talking about how much they don't need us and how much they don't need our money. So why are you so much in our hoods then? Why are you everywhere but your own neighborhoods, right? Why don't you go ahead, you know, and pack up your little, you know, nail salons, your little restaurants and all that and everything that you got going on. Why don't you go ahead and pack up all your businesses and get up out of our hood? See, the fact of the matter is that you guys need us. We don't need y'all. You guys need us. We don't need y'all. You ain't never seen a Jamaican restaurant, Haitian restaurant, Black American soul food restaurant in Little China or any Asian community. You guys don't support anything we do. You guys don't support none of our businesses. I ain't never seen Asians walk into a black establishment to actually purchase anything, to actually pay for anything. Actually walk into a black establishment and actually spend money with black people. I ain't never seen Asian people do it. So how you gonna sit here and act like, oh, we don't need you. Yeah, y'all need us. The whole world need us. We don't need y'all. We put food in your baby's stomach. Every time we spend our hard-earned money, every time we spend our dollars in your establishment, those dollars are taken out of circulation from our community and is sent to your child. We put food in your children's mouth. You guys don't put food in our children's mouth. We feed your children. You need us. We don't need y'all. You guys don't support us for anything. And guess what? We're still good. We still good. Our kids still eat. We still look good. Our kids still go to school. We got black excellence all around us. But you guys want to highlight the worst of us and plaster it all over the media, all over the world, so you can participate in this little white supremacy game. See, the truth of the matter is that all these nationalities that be coming up around us know that black people is under economic attack. They know that black people is under economic attack, economic oppression. that there's an economic warfare that's going on against black people. So you know what they do? They take advantage of that. They come into our communities, they live among us, they stay among us. You know what I mean? They open up their businesses, they make money from us, then talk behind us behind our backs. Talk behind us behind our backs. They participate in our oppression with white supremacy, but try to stay quiet and act like they not. Come on. Y'all need us. We don't break bread. Y'all don't break bread with us. We break bread with y'all, and we still good. We feed y'all children. When a sister goes get her nails done in an Asian restaurant, she's literally putting a spoon in your baby's mouth back in Asia. Let's be real. Y'all don't break bread with us. Whatever we say is hot. We make the culture here that we the ones who's buying. We have the buying power. We the ones who said, hey, Mercedes-Benz is hot. Benz is hot because we said it's hot. Jordan is hot. We said it's hot. Nike's hot because we said it's hot. It ain't y'all. Nobody ain't following y'all. Y'all following us. And it's not just the Asians. I'm not talking about all the Asians, but a lot of them. But it's not just them. It's all these other nationalities, the Arabs, the Indians, all these people. You go into a black mall, right? All these Arabs are in there. All these Indians are in there selling jewelry. I want to challenge y'all. Go around, you know what I'm saying, where they selling jewelry at, and ask them, yo, who's your supplier? I went to a mall. I went to like 5, 6, 7 jewelers. Who's your supplier? Who's your supplier? Who supplies you with jewelry? I asked one jeweler, his eyes was like, couldn't believe it. Because they only come here to sell to us. They ain't trying to collaborate. They ain't trying to do business with us. And they trying to gatekeep whatever they got going on to keep us out. But they'll take your money, then turn around and talk shit about you. Turn around and come on the internet and say that we're begging for scraps and for reparations because they scared. Because they scared. Because they know that the day that comes, when we get paid, when we get our money, when we get paid, we ain't gonna need nothing. We ain't gonna need nobody for nothing, especially them. They're leeches. Come in our neighborhoods, take our money, exploit the racist system that is pointing against us, then act like they not, oh, we don't participate in racism, but in your household talking mad smack about us. But see us and smile in our faces, just to get some money, just to get a dollar bill. And then they pack up and they go to sub-Saharan Africa. They go into Africa right now, they doing the same exact thing. Let me tell you something too, that Asian dude, the Asian lady in China Mac. The only reason, listen to this, the only reason why China is even a superpower today is because the Europeans allowed it. Okay? Because all of the raw material that is pulled out of Africa is sent to China for processing and manufacturing. That was done deliberately just to keep manufacturing out of Africa. Because they didn't want Africa to become what China is. Africa could become what China is in about 5 to 10 years if they can get into the manufacturing game. But they purposely make sure all the raw material. Come on, man, I know this. And they mad right now. You know why they mad? Because we waking up. We waking up. We waking up. That's why they upset. And black love is coming back. Black pride is coming back.
This is why when y'all say black people can't come together, I just shut my mouth because y'all are showing out on this Asian boycott. Saturday, June the 6th, empty. Nail salons, empty. Y'all are showing out. Now, if you recall, he's the one that told us that we couldn't survive without any Asian-owned, stores in our community, and told us if we did a boycott, he would take away the laundry mats, right? They would not have laundry mats for us, as if we don't own washers and dryers in 2026. Now, some of you actually seem to be surprised at the Asian community, some of them anyway, that are really thinking that we're ignorant and too ignorant to have our own. Guys, don't forget about 2023. Do y'all remember in 2023 when they ended affirmative action? And that was in part to the Asian community. They let themselves be pushed to end affirmative action against the blacks. And people always say against the blacks as if we're the only community and we're the #1 community to benefit from affirmative action. We weren't, but that's a discussion for another day. So in case you didn't know, the Asian American Coalition for Education, along with 60 other Asian American groups, got together and filed several civil rights law complaints against Harvard, okay? And they supported Students for a Fair for fair admissions. Now, if students for fair admissions sound familiar, that's because they are the ones who filed these lawsuits that went to the Supreme Court. President and fellows of Harvard College and also against University of North Carolina. They combined the two. They said that they felt it was so unjust. They were expected to perform higher to get into Ivy League colleges. And that's not the case for everyone, i.e. Black people. They decided to do it in groups so that no one could pick out a specific Asian American to target. But the fact that there were 60 different groups along with the Asian American Coalition for Education speaks volumes. Now, once affirmative action ended, do you think there was a big surge of acceptance into Ivy League colleges for Asian Americans? What we do, which is us. So I'm proud of all you guys standing in solidarity because they're basically calling us stupid as hell, and we're not. Leave me a comment. Bye, y'all. Bye.
Asian businesses don't give back to the Black community. I hear this talking point a lot, but to be fair, does any business give back to the community? This is what I think about a business. A business exists to make money. It's about supply and demand. They supply the demand and they make money from it. Some make a lot of money, some barely get by, and some don't make money. But is it also their obligation to give back to the community? I live by a Walmart and Target, and I don't remember a time they gave back to me.
His point is a straw argument. Okay, he knows exactly what the hell we're talking about. Okay, they come in our neighborhoods. Walmarts are not all over every Black person's neighborhood. There's barely any Walmarts in our neighborhoods, period. Okay, pay attention. With that all being said, they're in our neighborhoods. And when your kids, the point is, when your kids are trying to collect money for fundraisers for school or whatever, they don't donate to any of those sort of things. Okay, they could at least donate $1, show some appreciation for all the money that we put into their establishments. Now he's sitting here trying to make this BS excuse and trying to talk about Walmart. Walmart is not even the equivalent of their businesses. Let's continue.
Like, are you saying they should support the local Little League team or something?
Yes.
Yeah, some businesses have like community programs, scholarships. But I'm not really fooled by that. I don't think they really care about the community. These are just marketing ploys, so it looks like they care about the community to get more people to come to their business.
Well, that's better than nothing, stupid. Okay, at least they are trying to make it look like they're doing something. You're not doing anything. Okay, does he think he makes a bit of sense? Let's continue.
The only company I think that cares about the community is Costco because they keep hot dogs at $1.50. So personally, I don't think this is an Asian issue. So let's just take the word Asian out of it. Is it the obligation of any business to give back to the community? I personally don't think so.
This is going to be an unpopular fucking opinion. And
Now listen to this lady. She talks all the trash. Now, mind you, I had to put like noise in the background, like an audio of like suspense in the background because she had a song playing. But I want you all to really focus on what she's saying. She's talking a whole bunch of smack. Okay, let me rewind it back a second and let's get into it.
Any business to give back to the community? I personally don't think so.
This is going to be an unpopular fucking opinion. And I'm going to call you out since you motherfuckers don't seem to fucking understand. Every single one of you over there boycotting Asian business and spreading more Asian hate, you fucking Black fucking people with your Black fatigue, okay? Every single one of you failing in life. And then you want to blame everybody else. You see this whole Cyrus case and Mr. Chow? None of this would have happened if you motherfuckers raised your fucking kids right. That fucking little boy witnessed some of his business trying to steal fucking water, okay? Now, I might not agree with Mr. Chow chasing the fucking boy and shooting him fucking in Timbuktu, okay, wherever the fuck he was. But here's the crazy part.
She's so ridiculous, okay? She is so ridiculous. Now, does she think she was telling us off? You effing black people. I mean, she really was letting us have it. Okay, Asian Karen, have several seats. You're going to feel the heat. Okay, I mean, I don't care what they say. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't hurt my feelings. It doesn't even get me upset. I laugh at them and the racist devils that are mad about Karmelo Anthony this whole trial because to me, they're just pathetic. These are poor excuses for human beings. Okay, they tried to tick us off. Okay, that's all they tried to do. And the bottom line is she says that she doesn't agree with him chasing her down. Of course she does. That's why she's talking like that. She had the energy of wanting all the smoke. So I say we give them all the smoke. Don't buy a damn thing from any Asian-owned stores or businesses, period. And we're not just doing this for 30 days, for 60 days. This is permanent. Okay, y'all gonna y'all done effed around and found out. This is permanent. And like I told y'all, don't let me see any of your black artists in one of those stores or one of the beauty supplies getting your nails done. I'm gonna put the camera on you and I'm gonna make you go viral in the worst way. And it's gonna go viral. Okay, I promise you that, because I'm going to put on such a show and embarrass the hell out of you. And I promise you, I'm not joking. Now, with that all being said, let's go to this black family who sells their own toilet tissue. Likes up, everyone, please. Like and share. Thank you in advance.
I'm Sean. This is my wife, Mia, and our daughter, Ty. We're the owners and founders of Happy Bamboo Toilet Tissue.
Hi, everyone.
And this is Mr. Happy Bamboo.
Happy Bamboo Toilet Tissue.
And we still need your help getting Happy Bamboo into every home, every university, and every workplace out there. When you choose us, you're choosing comfort.
Hey, everybody. It's time for the Happy Bamboo Dance. Follow me, step, sway, and smile.
You heard the little one.
Let's do it. Come on. Dance with us. Step to the left.
That commercial is sending me. Okay. Now, that all being said, let's get ready to get out of here. Hold on. Okay, hold on. Did the little murder? Hold on. Hold on. I see a troll. Hold on. Okay, there we go. Y'all pay attention for the trolls because they have nothing better to do. Okay, now with that all being said, listen. The boycott still stands. We're not buying a darn thing from them, period. Okay, we're not buying anything from them. And that's just what it is. Now, what I want to say this before I conclude the broadcast. This whole thing with their attorney, Mike Howard, he's a criminal justice attorney in Dallas, Texas. He also serves Collin County, which is where they are, Denton County and Tarrant County. Now, in my opinion, I don't know if they did their research on this man prior to hiring him for the case, but he is not doing a thorough job. And I believe, and somebody said that he's friendly with the prosecution. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, but at the end of the day, this man, I don't know, it seems like he was trying to do a poor job. It seems like he was trying to do a poor job, in my opinion. Okay, I just have several questions. Hold on, another troll. Okay, so with that all being said, let's get ready to get out of here. Everyone, please like and share. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so you're notified each time Queen Goddess goes live. And I will see you all in the morning with your morning wake-up call. Enjoy the rest of this beautiful day. Each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. And always remember, beloveds, to keep the Most High first in your lives. Until next time, peace.
Gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen. Why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther. shed blood like Kunta. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations, America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. See a bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all at Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threats. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me?